There are some big names in the football world who believe Wrexham might be taking a step bigger than it can handle, and that's today's main story. But hold on, before we get to that, there are two important updates shaking up the daily routine of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's club. Hey everyone! Today's video is unmissable. 3 stories that show how Wrexham is fighting to establish itself once and for all in the Championship, while also facing a few bumps along the way. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay until the end, because the last story could genuinely change the club's future. News 1. Wrexham set to face Stoke City. Wrexham return to the pitch this Saturday for a crucial clash against Stoke City, and the atmosphere behind the scenes is one of total anticipation. The big question every fan is asking: what starting 11 will Phil Parkinson go for this time? The manager has a good kind of headache to deal with, because 2 key players are back, Ollie Rathbone and Liberato Kakas. 2 players who change the tempo of the game, add intensity both in midfield and on the flanks, and could make all the difference in this match. Kakas, for instance, returned to training after 5 rounds out due to injury. He had been one of the team's standout performers before getting sidelined: quick, great going forward, and very solid defensively. His comeback is seen as a major boost. Meanwhile, Rathbone, who'd been out since pre-season after taking a knock during training, is finally 100% fit again. And anyone who follows Wrexham knows, when he's on the pitch, the midfield looks completely different. The fans are buzzing but also a bit anxious. Many want to see both players start the match, but Parkinson is known for being cautious with returning players. He may prefer to bring them on gradually, perhaps during the second half, to reduce the risk of re-injury and keep the squad fit for a demanding run of fixtures. In goal, it looks like Arthur Okonkwo will remain the first choice. Despite some criticism, the manager seems confident in him and isn't expected to give Callum Burton a chance, at least not yet. The defence should stay largely unchanged, a solid backline that's still looking to improve in aerial duels. In midfield, there's an interesting debate. Rathbone could take Ben Sheaf's place, but the expectation is that the manager will keep the duo that's been playing together recently, leaving Rathbone as an impact option from the bench. Up front, competition is fierce. Nathan Broadhead is in brilliant form. He shone for Wales during the international break and added more pace and creativity to Wrexham's attack. But Josh Windus and Lewis O'Brien are also performing well, both contributing with key goals and assists. And leading the line, Kiefer Moore should remain as the main striker. Parkinson values his physical strength and his ability to hold up the ball, which helps the team push higher up the pitch. In short, all signs suggest Wrexham will stick with the same starting 11 from their last match against Birmingham. But this time, with Rathbone and Kakas ready to come off the bench and inject energy that could swing the result. The message is clear: Wrexham are going for it, but with a plan. The team knows they need the 3 points to climb the table, yet they also understand this is a time for balance, to play smart, without rushing things. And if those 2 returning players hit top form quickly, fans can get excited. Wrexham are ready to cause serious problems in the Championship. News 2. George Dobson, hero or under threat? Now it's time to talk about one of the most talked about players at Wrexham this season, George Dobson. The midfielder has become a symbol of the team's consistency, earned the fans' respect, and has been hailed by many as one of the great revelations of the year. But, as happens in every competitive squad, success also brings new challenges, and there are those who believe his place in the starting 11 could soon be under threat. Dobson is the kind of player who doesn't always make the headlines but makes the team tick. Since the start of the season, he has played every single minute of the league, showing stamina, tactical discipline, and a level of commitment that has impressed even the harshest critics. Despite the arrival of new names in midfield, Phil Parkinson has kept complete faith in him, and that decision has paid off. But in football, things can change quickly. Journalist Nathan Salt, on the Rob Ryan Red podcast, raised a discussion that has divided fans. He believes that, looking ahead, Wrexham's ideal midfield should consist of Ben Sheaf, Lewis O'Brien, Josh Windus, and Nathan Broadhead, for technically gifted players, with more creativity and attacking potential. In other words, despite all his credit, Dobson could end up being pushed aside once the team is at full strength. And the argument makes sense. Sheaf is seen as the brain of the midfield, with excellent vision and passing. O'Brien adds a dynamic attacking presence. Windus is tireless, always a threat on set pieces, and Broadhead is in inspired form, proving decisive both in creating and finishing chances. With so much quality in one department, it's not easy for the manager to find room for everyone. However, Dobson doesn't seem like the kind of player who gives up easily. He has earned the dressing room's trust and the supporters' admiration through steady performances, never hiding when the pressure is on. He also carries a quiet form of leadership, the sort of player who speaks little but motivates others through his attitude and example. To make the battle for places even tougher, Wrexham also brought in George Thomason, formerly of Bolton Wanderers. The midfielder started the season injured, which delayed his adaptation, but has recently returned to full training and made his debut in the 3-2 win over Norwich City, coming on in the second half. He himself admitted that the start was frustrating. It was tough to get injured right after signing, but now I'm 100%, feeling good and ready to fight for my spot, he said. In short, Wrexham's midfield has turned into a real battlefield for positions. Parkinson now has at his disposal a variety of styles. Dobson is the tireless workhorse, O'Brien and Broadhead bring flair and pace, Windus adds offensive power, and Sheaf is the organiser who keeps the rhythm. The manager's challenge will be to find the right balance without losing the collective spirit that has defined the team since the beginning of the campaign. In the end, Dobson may well be under threat, but he could also surprise everyone. After all, football is full of stories about players who, when put to the test, proved exactly why they deserve to stay. And if there's one thing George Dobson knows how to do, it's silencing his critics on the pitch. News 3. The bombshell. Warning for Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack. And now, we've reached the most talked about story of the day, and perhaps the most important one so far. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, the owners of Wrexham, have received a serious warning that's raised red flags both inside and outside the club. Wrexham may be growing too fast. That's right. What started as the dream of two Hollywood stars has become a real-life success story. The Welsh club climbed from the National League to the Championship in record time, winning over fans' hearts and earning respect from the football world. But as with all rapid growth, there are risks. And the man who issued this warning is none other than Peter Moore, former CEO of Liverpool and now strategic advisor to Wrexham. Speaking at the World Football Summit in Madrid, Moore was straightforward. The club is in an exciting moment, but it needs to tread carefully. According to him, Wrexham's current infrastructure still doesn't match the scale of Reynolds and Rob Mack's ambitions. The biggest issue is the STOP Wrexham Stadium, which holds just 10,500 spectators, the smallest in the entire championship. And that directly affects revenue, since a significant portion of a club's income comes from matchday earnings, ticket sales, concessions, and local sponsorships. Moore explained that, to compete with clubs like Stoke City, West Brom, and Norwich, all well-established sides with top-class academies, Wrexham must strengthen its financial foundations, with a larger stadium and a more sustainable revenue base. Otherwise, the risk is clear, growing too fast and losing balance along the way. But if there's one thing Ryan and Rob have demonstrated from day one, it's long-term vision. They know that Wrexham must prepare not just to rise, but to stay among the elite. That's why the club has already launched a historic project, the construction of the new Kop stand, a modern stand that will increase total capacity to more than 18,000 fans. The plan is ambitious. The new Kop is set to transform the STOP Wrexham into an international standard stadium, ready to host matches of the 2035 Women's World Cup. Moreover, the project aims to restore the stadium's traditional four-sided design, with improved comfort, accessibility, and renewed spaces for both supporters and visitors. Chief Executive Michael Williamson explained that the redevelopment is about more than football, it's about identity and community. In his words, the new Kop will become an iconic landmark for the city, a symbol of Wrexham's rebirth both on and off the pitch. We want the stadium to be the beating heart of the city, a source of pride for everyone. This modernisation will bring international events, create jobs, and put Wrexham back on the global sporting map. The schedule foresees the new Kop stand being ready by the summer of 2026, marking a new era for the club. With it, Wrexham would gain not only a more modern home, but also a stronger financial footing, potentially surpassing even some Premier League grounds like Brentford and Bournemouth. But until all that becomes reality, the focus must remain on the present. Manager Phil Parkinson acknowledged that adapting to the Championship has been tough. He said, "We spent a fair bit this summer, but we're competing against clubs with elite infrastructure that's been in place for years. We need to improve with every game, because this level is relentless." And he's right. Wrexham, with just 2 wins so far in the 2025-26 season, is still searching for the balance between ambition and reality. Every match has become a test, not only for the players, but for Reynolds and McElhenney's entire project. The next challenge will be against Stoke City, a match that promises to be more than just another round of the Championship. It's a chance to prove that Wrexham is not just a Hollywood phenomenon, but a club ready to take the next step, with its feet on the ground and eyes on the summit. So, what do you think? Can Wrexham keep up this pace without losing control? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this story is only just beginning. That's it for today, folks. 3 stories that perfectly capture Wrexham's current moment. an ambitious team, led by dreamers, but needing to balance growth with stability. Now I want to know, do you really believe Wrexham can reach the Premier League in the next few years? Let me know your opinion below, and of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss tomorrow's video, because we've got even more hot news coming your way about Reynolds Club.